brain and the body. Often we do things, some of y'all might be drunk now, no. Often we do things and we don't quite know the damage that we're actually doing, okay? And a lot of this information as we go through it is from several different sources. I'm seeing a lot of the things that I was experiencing dealing with some brothers. Of course, I've been through it myself, you know, somebody who has drank in the past on more than one occasion. But dealing with certain brothers, I could see how a lot of these things they were experiencing, you know, their brain being dehydrated, brain cells being dehydrated, forgetting things, saying, you said this, and asking me questions, and I'm answering them, and they're acting as if the questions were never answered. And as I'm looking at this, most of them had cups in their hands at the same time that this was happening. So now I can see, you know, these brothers were hallucinating. You know what I mean? So this class was intended to be actually there at a law school, and we would have went through some of these things, and maybe some of these brothers would have been present at the time. But, you know, maybe this can assist you in some way, shape, or form. So let's just go into some of these things. I'm going to set it up pretty much with some information on how they actually test the brain and test how these different substances affect the brain. And we must remember, as original people, this is general, but as original people, being melanin-dominant individuals, things affect us more at a higher level because we absorb it much more. Particularly, of course, we have melanin in our brain, in our midbrain sections, which is called the substantia nigra. But we as melanin-dominant people, these toxins we absorb much greater and then re-emit them throughout the body. So when you read the effects of alcohol on the brain, just understand it's worse for us, okay? And a good book that goes into that heavy detail would be Melanin, The Chemical Key to Black Greatness by Dr. Carol Barnes, okay? So the U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources, National Institute of Health, National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, using high-tech tools to assess alcoholic brain damage. Source material for this alcohol alert originally appeared in the journal Alcohol Research and Health, Alcoholic Brain Damage, Volume 27, November 2nd, 2003. So this is just giving you some information. I'll breeze through this as swiftly as possible, just so you know how they're measuring the damages of the brain. So researchers studying the effects of alcohol use on the brain are aided by advanced technologies such as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, diffusion tensor imaging, DTI, positron emission tomography, which they call PET, PET, which the brother, you know, sidebar, but either way. Electrophysiological brain mapping. These tools are providing valuable insight into how alcohol affects the brain structure and function. Long-term heavy drinking may lead to shrinking of the brain and deficiency in the fibers, white matter, that carry information between brain cells, gray matter. MRI and DTI are being used together to assess the brains of patients when they first stop chronic heavy drinking and again after long periods of sobriety to monitor for possible relapse to drinking. So they're suggesting through these various machines that your brain actually shrinks, you know? And sometimes when we see the way certain people behave, particularly those heavy drinkers who have been drinking for years upon years, they behave as if their brains have shrunken, you know? And that's no offense to anybody here. If you're a heavy drinker, you know, you can rebound, you know what I mean? And extend your brain some more. Memory formation and retrieval are highly influenced by factors such as attention and motivation. Studies using MRI are helping scientists to determine how memory and attention improve with long-term abstinence from alcohol, as well as what changes take place when a patient begins drinking again. The goal of these studies is to determine which induced effects, all right, I just lost my tape, which induced effects on the brain are permanent and which ones can be reversed with abstinence.